All right, what's up, guys? Vivi back again with another video, another Flesh and Blood, spoiler style reveal video. Now, don't get me wrong. At the time of me recording these videos, these Flesh and Blood ones, the pre-release has already happened, and the game releases officially, I think, in 3 days, where they can sell to over the counter normally. So just keep that in mind, and bear with me at the same time. I do appreciate you guys being patient with me because I'm getting caught up, on all the 3 games I want to mainly deal with. That being One Piece, Flesh and Blood, and Lorcana. Those are the 3 main card games I'm trying to focus on. So yeah, let's go ahead and dive into it. We're on Levia now, Shadowborn Abomination. Pretty crazy, gruesome looking picture we got here, but very, very well done at the same time. Very cool looking. So let's see what we got. So this 4 intellect, 40 health, pretty standard for the heroes. So let's see. If a card with 6 or more physical attack has been put into your banish zone this turn, cards you own lose blood debt during the end phase. Okay, well that's a big deal because for those who don't know, blood debt is going to hurt you at the end of every turn. See, here's a card that has it, blood debt. While this is in your banish zone, at the beginning of your end phase, lose 1 life. So it looks like as long as you can play, or excuse me, hang on. If a card with 6 or more attack has been put into your banish zone this turn, cards you own lose blood debt during the end phase. So okay. This is a Shadow Brute hero. So let's go ahead and dive into it. This is the, of course they always have the young half health, how do you say it? Blitz champion or Blitz hero variant right next to the main. That's all that is. Okay, Hellhammer. This is a Shadow Brute weapon, 2-handed hammer. Looks pretty cool. Looks pretty heavy. I'll tell you that much. But this thing is a 6 damage. It deals 6 physical damage, and it's a once per turn action. Pay 2 to attack. When the combat chain closes, if this attacked, banish it. Okay, well, that's pretty straightforward. It does have blood debt, so while this is in your banish zone, at the beginning of your end phase, you lose 1 life. So this will again come down to trying to make sure you can, get a 6 or higher strength card in your banish zone every turn. So you don't get hit with blood debt every single turn from just everything you have. Because I think pretty much every card in here, I kind of looked through it a little bit. I think pretty much every single card in here has blood debt for the most part of her cards, unless it's not a, creature. Like all of the attack cards, have blood debt. I think there might be a few exceptions here, but let's keep going. Okay, so Spoiled Skull. We have a Shadow Brute head equipment. Even this has blood debt, just like the Hellhammer, right? Very, very cool. That is the theme, right? So let's keep going, see what we get here. This one's interesting because action, pay 1, banish this, target 3 action cards with different names in your banish zone, and choose 1 at random. You may play it this turn, go again. Okay, so, just recursion, that's always nice, even though it's random. And so just to kind of get that out of the way, for those who don't know, the brute stuff is just about randomness. It's just total random, full-on berserker, craziness, right? And then the blood debt, of course, would be like the shadow aspect of it. So okay. This has barrier 1 as well, so that's always nice. So let's keep going. Pretty decent headpiece here, though. It does add to your blood debt count, which, it adds up, but at the same time, I think there's things we're going to come across that probably interact with it in a positive and negative way, right? So we'll have to keep all that in mind as we're going through it. But I do like the recursion, being able to grab cards back. So even though it is random, like I said, it's still decent. Okay, we got Diabolic Offering. This just comes in blue. It's a 1-cost attack, Shadow Brute action attack. It's a blue, like I said, so it pitches for 3. Very disgusting picture we're looking at here. So for attack and defense, there are asterisks. There's an asterisk for attack and an asterisk for defense. So if a card with 6 or more attack has been put into your banished zone this turn, Diabolic Offerings attack and defense are 6. Otherwise, they are 0. So again, this is just always tying back into, Levia's ability where we need to get a 6 or more attack card into our banished zone every turn. Like we need to do that. Okay, let's keep that in mind. Let's keep going. I think this card's good, but it's going to depend on if we can get these 6 or higher attacks into our banished zone every turn. Okay, so we have one massive card here that costs 6. It's a yellow. It's called Shaden Death Hydra. A very cool name. This thing is huge. This thing's like as big as buildings. What do we got here? When this attacks, it's a 13 physical attack damage attack. 3 defense, but this is a Shadow Brute action attack that deals 13. When this attacks, it deals X damage to you, where X is 13 minus the number of cards with Blood Debt in your banished zone. So here's like one of the positive interactions of Blood Debt, right? So the more Blood Debt we have in our banished zone, the less damage we're going to take from a card like this. And this card itself also has Blood Debt. So very, very big card here. This seems devastating. Okay, so let's keep going. Slithering Shadowpeed. This is a 1 cost, 6 attack, 0 defense. This card does not have a defensive value. Well, that's interesting. Even though it's an attack, it has a 0 defensive value. If this was banished from your hand this turn, you may play it from your banished zone. Okay, has Blood Debt. So we're going to have to keep that in mind. How are we going to get this into the banished zone? Right? I don't play the Shadow Brute style stuff. So if you guys have any ideas about anything I'm saying that I'm missing, I'm sure I'm missing a lot of stuff here on the Shadow Brute interactions. So anything I miss, by all means, please fill me in. So yeah, and hopefully as the video goes on, we read more of these, I'll see more and more synergy going on, but it just seems all over the place currently. So let's just see what we get. And this picture, absolutely disgusting, just like all the cards we've seen so far. Man, this is just freaky nightmare fuel type stuff, but very, very well drawn, very cool. Okay, so let's keep going. This is a 1 cost to deal 6. That seems really good. And then if this was banished from your hand this turn, you may play it from your banished zone. So yeah, so let's keep that in mind. If this was banished from your hand this turn, you may play it from your banished zone. So the last 3 cards we did were only 1-ofs. They're not red, yellow, and blues. They're just 1-ofs. And the same thing for these next 2 cards. So the next one here is Expendable Limbs. This is a 0 cost blue Shadow Brute defense reaction. As an additional cost to play this, banish a random card from your hand. Okay, well, so right away, banish a random card from your hand. And we just went over Slithering Shadowpeed. If this was banished from your hand this turn, you may play it from your banished zone. Well, wait a minute. This is a defense reaction. Would you still be able to play that? I don't think so. No, I don't think so. But that's funny. But if a card with 6 or more attack is banished this way, you may play it from your banished zone during your next action phase. Okay, so that literally it says that, right? It's literally giving us permission to run this Slithering Shadowpeed and just play it for our next phase, right? So that's pretty cool. And it does have Blood Debt. The Slithering Shadowpeed does. So excellent. Okay, already an excellent interaction with what we were just looking for. Very cool. So anyway, other than that, very, very powerful defensive reaction here. It's for 4. As an additional cost to play this card, banish a random card from your hand. Yeah, just solid. Exactly what we're trying to do with this kind of deck. Okay, next we got Blood Dripping Frenzy. This is a 2 cost blue card. Pitches for 3, of course. 3 defense, but no attack. It's just a Shadow Brute action. Excuse me. Excuse me. Sorry, guys. My allergies. So, as an additional cost to play this, banish your hand. Draw a card for each card with Blood Debt banished this way. Your Brute and Shadow attacks get plus X this turn, where X is the number of cards with 6 or more attack banished this way. Go again. So right away, I'm always harping back to this Slithering Shadowpeed So you'll banish this, and you'll basically be able to play it. If this was banished from your hand this turn, you may play it from your banished zone. So for 1, it does cost 1, of course. But, you know, or unless, yeah, I think it still should cost what it costs. You can play it from the banished zone. But with a card like Blood Dripping Frenzy, man, does this really get you there, you know, fast with a card like that. If you've got Slithering Shadowpeed in hand, you're feeling good, right? You're feeling really good about that. Draw a card for each card with Blood Debt banished away. So you'll draw at least 1 because of Shadowpeed. And then your Brute and Shadow attacks get +X this turn, where X is the number of cards with 6 or more attack banished this way. Wow, so you could potentially get a lot of attack onto this Slithering Shadowpeed. Very strong. Blood Dripping Frenzy seems very, very powerful. Especially if we can just tag everything that's over 6 power with Blood Debt in this deck, you know, with a few exceptions like this. Okay, let's keep going. Ram Raider. So this comes in red, yellow, and blue. The difference is the attack on these. They all have 3 defense, but the attack goes from 4 to 5 to 6. Okay, so Ram Raider. The red one is a 2 cost, 6 physical power, like I was saying, and 3 defense. As an additional cost to play this, banish a random card from your hand. If a card with 6 or more is banished this way, this gets go again. So this is really powerful with Slithering Shadowpeed. Just an extremely powerful. Yeah, we're definitely I'm a big fan of the Slithering Shadowpeed interaction with this stuff. But then if a card with 6 more is banished away, it gets go again. Yep. And then it has Blood Debt itself, so that's always good. Yeah, just solid card. Let's keep going. Wall Breaker. So here's another 6. 6 damage. 6 physical damage, 3 defense. This Wall Breaker has red, yellow, and blue. The only defense being the attack. It goes from 4, 5 to 6, just like with Ram Raider. Okay. So this one has, if you've banished a card with 6 or more attack this turn, this gets overpowered. This can't be defended by more than 1 action card, and has Blood Debt. So again, you know, the Slithering Shadowpeed just seems like such a good synergy here. And honestly, any of these cards, like as long as you're discarding a Blood Debt card, right, or is a attack card with 6 or more, a card with 6 or more attack this turn. So just very strong. Yeah, Wall Breaker seems like it's pretty devastating. Getting overpowered like that on a 6 power card. And like I was saying, you know, imagine the situation where you discard a 3, you know, a blue card where you pitch for 3, not discard. You pitch a blue card for 3. You use Wall Breaker, and with the last card in your hand being like a Slithering Shadowpeed, well, actually, you know, it would have to be Ram Raider to give it go again or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, well, I'll have to think of other ways to interact, but still, it just seems like that can be very, very powerful. Okay, now we got Shaden Scream. This comes in blue, yellow, and red. It is a Shadow Brute action with 3 defense. The only difference is, you know, in the blue, yellow, and red is it goes from +3 to +4 to +5 physical attack for your next Brute or Shadow attack this turn. And as an additional cost to play this, you banish a random card from your hand and then go again. Whew, man, that's pretty brutal. So playing this card right here with your Slithering Shadowpeed in hand means no matter what, you're going to be getting, you know, you're going to be swinging for 11, basically. There's pretty much no way to stop it, because even if you discard the Slithering Shadowpeed, no problem. We'll just play it again. You know, we'll play it that turn. Or if you discard another card, again, it just doesn't matter because now you have your Slithering Shadowpeed in hand still. So Shade and Scream seems really good. Maybe this will be like a blue card you run in the deck so you can actually afford these abilities, because these do all cost, you know, Wall Breaker costs 2, Ram Raider costs 2, Blood Dripping Frenzy costs 2, Slithering Shadowpeed costs 1. You know, all of these cards cost, you know, Diabolic Offering costs 1, Shade and Death Hydra costs 6. So, you know, maybe Shade and Scream is something we run, you know, you'd want to run as like, you know, the yellows and blues of. But maybe not. I don't know. We'll have to see. Okay, next we got Battlefield Breaker. It comes in blue, yellow, and red. And this comes in, let's see. This one is a pretty big card. This one costs 3, so it goes from 5 damage to 6 damage to 7 damage. Battlefield Breaker. This is if you've banished a card with 6 or more power this turn, this gets +1. So, I mean, I hate to sound like a broken record, but you keep going back to this Shadowpede having so much power. I wonder if there's going to be another card like this coming up for this Shadow Brute cards, because it would really be nice for them. Because you'll only have 3 Shadowpedes in your deck, right? That's all you can have. So, and this is a 100% 3 of, I think. If this was banished from your hand this turn, you may play it from your banish zone. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this has to be like 100% 3 of in your deck. Because, you know, on a perfect turn, you know, you would maybe you would defend last turn, whatever, but then you on your defense, or excuse me, let me slow down. So say you're on defense. Actually, just ignore defense, right? Hang on a second. Hang on a second. Just ignore defense. You pitch 3, right? And then, no, I was going to say you go with Shade and Scream. But anyway, all right, so you pitch 3. You play Ram Raider with only a Slithering Shadowpede in hand. It tosses that. This card now gets go again. You swing for 6, and then you play Slithering Shadowpede afterwards because it gets go again. You know, here we go, coming in for 12. So, just very strong. Hopefully, there are more interactions like this to make the deck actually work. But, you know, I don't know. Okay, Shade and Swing. So we had Shade and Scream, and now Shade and Swing. This one is 1 cost. This one comes in red, yellow, and blue, and it goes from 5, 6, 7 with a, you know, I should say it goes from blue, yellow to red, 5, 6, 7. You guys know what I mean. This hits for 7 with the red, with the red version, and they're all 3 defense, of course. As an additional cost to play this, banish a random card from your hand, and this has Blood Debt. This is just a straight up 1 for 7. Yeah, very, very good. Let's see. Tribute to Demolition. So this goes from blue to yellow to red, 4, 5, 6 for the damage. And that's the only difference, is it goes from 4 to 5 to 6. And the red one, I'm just going to read that one. If a card with, hang on, as an additional cost to play this, banish a random card from your hand. If a card with 6 or more attack is banished this way, this gets +2. And it has Blood Debt, of course. I feel like Shade and Swing is just strictly better. Because for 1 cost, you're dealing 7, period. You know, you're just dealing 7. Whereas for 2 costs, you're dealing 6 and potentially 8. I don't know. Yeah, am I missing something here? Yeah, they both have Blood Debt. They both come in red, yellow, blue. They both have as an initial cost to play this, banish a random card from your hand. Yeah, I don't know about that one. One thing I should say about this Battlefield Breaker is this one is if you've banished a card with 6 or more this turn, it gets +1. So it doesn't banish a card. It's just if you've banished it, it gets +1. So that's interesting. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, Tribute to the Legions of Doom. Okay, so we have a Shadow Brute action attack. This is it comes in blue, yellow, and red. It does 5 damage, 6 damage, and 7 damage. As an additional cost to play this, banish a random card from your hand. If a card with 6 or more attack is banished this way, this gets +2. You know, it's getting old, right? It's the same thing over and over again. But I get why they have it. And then if a card with 6 or more attack is banished this way, this gets +2. So that's potentially a 3 for 9. Very powerful. And I hate to keep saying, but I have to keep saying it. If you banish, if you banish your Slithering Shadowpede, there you go. That's 9. And then you're going to get this. Well, I mean, I will say you have to get go again to make this work, right? You do have to get go again to do what I was saying. Excuse me. Unless you're doing like Expendable Limbs, where if a card with 6 or more is banished this way, you may play it from your banish zone during your next action phase. Well, I don't know. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of interactions there. I think it's very interesting. And it looks like they want you to just swing 1 time. All of these Shadow Brute cards were 3 defense. Every single one of them were 3 defense. So I think the idea is you're going to want to, have these cards in hand that can toss, for 6, obviously with Blood Debt, and if a card with 6 or more is banished this way, that whole entire idea is what we're going for. We want to be able to discard one every single turn efficiently. So that'll be interesting. I don't know what the ratio is going to be on this. I always like to ask what the ratios are on these cards, like how much 6 costs are we going to have to run in this in a deck like this. It seems very powerful. Obviously, I'm not gonna lie. Look at the Shade and Death Hydra. This is 6 cost, deals 13. It has a really good built-in defense card in the Shadow defense reaction, Expendable Limbs. Blocks for 4. As additional cost to play this, banish a random card from your hand. If it's a card with 6 or more attack, you can just play next turn. So, Ram Raider seems like it's going to be an absolute auto-include. Slithering Stampede, auto-include. Expendable Limbs, auto-include. And then Blood Dripping Frenzy, maybe. As additional cost to play this, banish your hand. Yeah, this is probably going to be an auto-include. Shade and Death Hydra as well. Shade and Scream as a blue auto-include, I think. So that way you can pitch it for resources if needed, and otherwise you can just, as an additional cost to play this, banish a random card from your hand. This is going to allow you to set up for things. You'll probably want to run like a bunch of this. I don't know though. I don't know all the different Shadow Brute cards. If there's ones from before, I don't really know them. I really kind of stick to the not the Shadow stuff at all, but actually the Runeblade stuff. So very cool though. Very very strong cards. It looks like to me. Probably gonna be pretty devastating. This Levia Shadowborn Abomination stuff. It's probably gonna be pretty fearsome. Pretty fearsome. Like the average attack is 6. You know what I mean? That's just brutal. Yeah. So tell me what you guys thought about it. Pretty straightforward. I think there is one more card I want to look at down here. Yeah, Levia Redeemed. So. And then there's the Shadow stuff as well we got to talk about. I might have to save this for its own video down here, like the Hungering Demigon and all this other stuff. Yeah, sorry guys. I am gonna save this for a Shadow video. Like next I'm gonna do Vinset, and then I will do a Shadow video, which is the same way that I did the stuff up here. First I did Prism, then I did Bolton, and then I did the light cards. So in this case, we're going to do Levia, then we're going to do Vinset next, and then after that, we will do the just straight Shadow cards. So one last card I will talk about while we're here is Levia Redeemed, since we're on Levia. This is an interesting thing going on here. It's got two sides to it. So Blasmafet Levia Consumed, this is what it reads. While this is in your inventory, when Blood Debt reduces your life to 13, just 13 on the dot, you may transform into Blasmafet Levia Consumed. Once each turn, you may play a card with Blood Debt from your Banish Zone. When a card is put into your Banish Zone, turn it face down. If you would lose life from Blood Debt, instead banish the top card of your deck. So that is very interesting what's going on there. Again, while this is in your inventory, when Blood Debt reduces your life to 13, you may transform into Blasmafet. So I don't know everything going on with this card. Shadow Demi-Hero Demon, Shadow Demi-Hero. And then this card, I'm not sure what's going on here either. This one just says Legendary Levia Specialization. Action, turn all cards in your banished zone face down. Transform into Levia Redeemed. Activate this ability only while this is in your inventory and you have 13 or more cards with Blood Debt in your banished zone. So I guess... And then cards you own lose Blood Debt. So I guess this is your way of getting out of like just insurmountable amounts of Blood Debt. Like where you can't pay the Blood Debt. Am I right when I say that, guys? Y'all tell me in the comment section below if I'm onto something there. I don't really quite fully grasp it. But it sounds like you kind of get a choice. Like, do you want to just give in to the corruption with this Levia Consumed? Or do you want to redeem yourself and just get rid of the Blood Debt? So again, let me just read it one more time. While this is in your inventory, when Blood Debt reduces your life to 13, you may transform into Blasmaphet Levia Consumed. Once each turn, you may play a card with Blood Debt from your Banish Zone. Whenever a card is put into your Banish Zone, turn it face down. If you would lose life from Blood Debt, instead banish the top card of your deck. Okay. But then this one says action, turn all cards in your Banish Zone face down, transform into Levia Redeemed, activate this ability only while this is in your inventory, and you have 13 or more cards with Blood Debt in your Banish Zone. Cards you own lose Blood Debt. So, man, that's really interesting. I do like stuff like this, the whole transforming idea, like the whole, like, I don't like to, reference other card games when I'm talking about a specific game, but it's kind of like in Dragon Ball Z, like, going Super Saiyan, right? Not the exact same, obviously, but you get the point that hopefully you get the point that I'm trying to get across there. It's just very interesting, I think. I think it's just a very cool concept because, over the course of a battle, you might, unlock a special power, right, so to speak, right? But anyway, very cool. I do think that's very interesting, and I really like the way this card looks. This is just in extremely well drawn. Steve Argyle, go figure. Yeah, I do know a lot of artists, not all of them, but I do know a lot of them, especially old Magic the Gathering artists. I'm still kind of learning some of the artists from Flesh and Blood. So, okay, guys, hope y'all enjoyed that. Please don't be afraid to leave any comments in the comment section below. Did I miss anything? We went over a lot of really cool stuff up here, a lot of really interesting big cards. What do you think about Levia? What do you think about what's going on with this deck? What tier do you think this is going to end up? Just whatever you want to talk about down there, guys, please, by all means, share. And I hope you guys liked it, enjoyed. And if you did, please leave me a like and a subscribe. It really helps me out. And at the same time, I just appreciate y'all being here and watching. So I do appreciate y'all. All right, guys. Next one we got up is going to be Vinset. So I'll see you in that one, guys. Peace.